Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome to Sports Nuts. We're going to do a very special holiday show today. I'm joined by my good friends Paul Izzo to my left.
Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy New Year to all our many viewers and listeners.
Thank you, Paul. Ken, and I'm also joined to my right by my other good friend, Ken Berman.
Hi, Jim. How you doing? Hey, happy everything, everybody. Happy everything.
Okay, so what we're going to do today is we're going to give our holiday wishes of what we'd like various Boston sports teams, players, owners, whatever, to receive for their holiday gift. So we're going to start with the teams. We got 5 categories: teams, players, owners, managers, the Boston media, the leagues themselves, and then a wild card.
We do?
I do.
All right.
I just want to say one thing. At my age, I don't get any gift for any holiday.
That's true.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, this is a gift. Being here with you boys.
Yes.
is a
Yes.
gift.
Well, this is a gift. This is a blessing, as they say, to be able to do Sports Nuts for 137 years.
Yes.
Oh,
33 to be exact.
Yeah.
Well said. Okay, let's start it off. We're going to start with Paul. And I guess we'll go in alphabetical order with the teams on the nicknames. So let's start off with our Boston Bruins. Paul, what do you wish for them for the holidays?
A second scorer after Pasternak. Right now, they have David Pasternak, who's the 25th leading point scorer in the NHL. For a team that's seriously considering itself, or at least pretending to be a Stanley Cup candidate, that's not very high. But the problem is their second leading scorer is Brad Marchand, who ranks 69th in the league in points scored. If you remember the 1970s,
Oh, yeah.
early 70s Bruins, when they had like 12 guys on the All-Star team, they don't have enough offense. It's a problem they've had on and off for the last 50 years. But they need a second scorer after David Pasternak, or they're not going anywhere.
And now, I believe Pasternak
Berman?
is down, though, right? He's down. His
Yes,
numbers are
he is
down,
down.
correct?
Yes.
He
Because
is
he's
down.
usually a bit like, I thought the last couple of years he was like 1 or 2 like goal
Yeah, no,
scorer.
he's
and-
down.
Way
yeah,
down.
they're done. So
So what do you wish, Ken?
I wish for a whole new upper management team at this point for the Bruins. Neely and what's his name?
Sweeney.
Don Sweeney. I think it's enough. We're getting nowhere fast. I'm just ready to move on. Move on. Whole
right.
new president, GM, whole thing.
Okay, my wish for the Bruins sort of echoes Paul. My wish is goal scorers, anywhere, anyhow, anyone.
Are we back to the years when all we needed was one more
Yeah.
sniper?
Paul's already given our viewers the reasons why, and I'm not going to repeat them. Okay, we're going to now go to our Boston Celtics. Ken, we'll start with you. What do you wish for the Celtics this year?
Well, I always wish for a championship, but I'll go with health for Kristaps Porzingis. I'd really love to see this guy stay healthy and just play a consistent year and through the playoffs.
Paul?
I think I'm desperately praying and wishing, and this is my most important of the 4 teams. I'm hoping that they get new ownership as committed to winning as the current group.
Oh, good one.
That's very good.
The team is in a very interesting place right now. They've got the players, they've got the coaches, they've got the management, they've got Brad Stevens, who, in Brad I trust. But if they get new ownership and they're not quite willing to go into the first apron, second apron, third apron, Betty Crocker apron, whatever it is, in over the salary cap, it could get ugly, and what we've grown used to around here could go away fast. So I'm hoping for new owners as committed to winning as the current group.
Yeah, good.
My wish for the Celtics is, I guess it's 2, but echoes Ken, is good health and Banner 19. And health, the NBA has become like the NFL. You've really got to ask when the playoffs roll around who is playing for which team. Then you can make a prediction, because until then, you don't know. Porzingis hurt his heel last night. We're taping the day after the Wizards game. So that's my wish. As Ken says, I always wish for a banner. I really wish for it this year because they have the team that can do it if they stay healthy. and it would also put them 2 ahead.
I was just going to say that,
of
Jim.
the
It
Lakers.
separates them by 2 by
Yeah.
the Lakers.
Okay.
Because my other wish is the Lakers don't win a championship.
Okay, now this one should be interesting. Again, we're going in alphabetical order by the nicknames. I'll lead off this round. Is our New England Patriots.
Oy.
What I
Oy vey.
wish for the New England Patriots is another high pick supplemented by a great draft. Now, why do I say that? Because last year they had a high pick, and they hit it with Drake May. Now, we know they were going to take one of those quarterbacks, but, you know, when they hit it, get it right. Let's give them credit. They could have followed some of the media's advice and not taken a quarterback and built around the line and all that. But they hit it with Drake May. So what they didn't do, and I know this is early returns, what they didn't do was supplement it with good picks in the rest of the rounds when you
Right.
pick that high. So my wish is another high pick, but this time a super draft. So that's where I come down. Paul, New England Patriots.
Well, it's sort of a broad subject.
Yeah,
but
really.
Yeah.
Well, what I want for them is a new management philosophy, top to bottom. They've gotten lucky. 30 years. Bob Kraft acquires the team. He's got Bill Parcells. Then he brings in Pete Carroll, and he had Bobby Greer and other old-timers. Then he gets Bill Belichick, who had Ernie Adams. I don't know what the management philosophy is, but it seems to me that it's kind of let's do it on the cheap. They've elevated people from within the organization, which is commendable, but it's top to bottom not working.
Yeah.
They've spent a lot of money, but they're spending it on a new $50 million facility for a workout spot, locker room for the players next to the stadium. They've built 2 or 3 bar rooms, taverns within the stadium.
Yep.
They have the world's largest scoreboard. They have the biggest lighthouse this side of
Right.
Cape Horn.
Yeah.
But I want to see that money invested in the team. They've been at the bottom of the league the last 10 years in actual spending.
Cash spending, yes.
And they just need to spend more time worrying about the football players on the field. Whether that means a new coach, whether that means new management, I don't know. But I want to see that change. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think it is going to change. I think the Crafts do business the way they do it. I think they're happy to make money. And I'm not confident that this is going to happen, but that's what I want them for Christmas.
Ken, what do you
Well,
would you
I'll,
like to
I'll
see
continue on that a little bit because I wrote down, my thought was for Bob Kraft to realize that he made a mistake right now. Now, I'm going 180 here on the coach Mayos, and we might get to that, I'm not sure, but I want Mike Vrabel, and I want him to be able to pick his whole staff and everything. I thought Mayo was going to work out. In an earlier show, I said I'm with him. He's smart. I think he'll figure it out. Wow, has it gone downhill since then? I mean, they just look a mess. Nothing looks good. Mayo says things you just shake your head at. But I would just want Kraft to realize, like Paul said, they're not doing it the proper way. I will add in the least amount of cash spending out of any team for 10 years. What were they, like $50 million under the cap?
With a stadium that's been sold out for 32 years.
Right. So anyway, a realization that changed.
One of Bill's greatest strengths, by the way. Recognize a mistake and then getting away from it immediately.
Yeah.
Rather than trying to justify it for 5 years. But anyway, okay, let's go on to the Boston Red Sox.
Did you give yours?
Yes. I wish for the high
Oh, the
pick
draft.
and the
That's
draft.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, the Boston Red Sox. Paul.
A stud starting pitcher. If you look at the Red Sox history going back to the 60s, whether it was Lomborg in the 60s, Louis Tiant in the 70s, Roger Clemens and Bruce Hurst in the 80s, the Schilling Pedro era, the John Lester era, the Red Sox, when they've been successful, and I'm not talking about one-off years where they have a little spurt and then they come back to earth. When the Red Sox have been successful over a sustained 2 to 5 year period, they've generally had a great pitcher. They don't have one right now. Now, they made that trade recently. We'll talk about that later. And I know that they're trying to develop pitching, But they don't have a stud right now. They don't have a 200 to 250 inning guy. Look how far back. I used to say a 300 inning guy.
Yeah, no,
they don't have a 2 to 250 inning guy that we know is going to get out there and give you 32 really good starts. They don't have that.
Yeah.
Ken.
My wish for the Red Sox, because talent. This how many years now? Like last year, we would talk about the Red Sox, and I'd go, "Who? Who's Javier Menendez batting seventh and playing left field?" I never heard of. They got. We can name the 67, 75, 86, 2004 teams. The last couple of years, I can't name their players.
Well, I have cycled in a lot of guys in and out. That's for sure.
Oh my goodness gracious! But they just a void of talent which shows because they've been in last place like 3 out of 4 years or something like that.
My wish for the Red Sox, for their holiday gift, is that their top 3 prospects become all-stars. At another show, we're going to talk about the Garrett Crochet trade, and they did keep their top 3, which is Roman Anthony, Marcelo Meyer, and Christian Campbell.
Yeah, that's
my
their
wish
biggies.
for them is that they all become stars, and that Red Sox have some homegrown stars, and hopefully they don't trade them like Mookie Betts. So, okay, we're going to get into the second category now. We'll lead off with Ken, which is we're going to go through the teams, again in alphabetical order, and we're going to pick either a player, owner, someone on the team, and what you wish for them for the holidays. So, Ken, we're going to start again with the Boston Bruins.
Okay, for the Boston Bruins, I don't even know how to pick with this team right now. By the way, this is another team when I look at them and go, I really don't know them anymore. I used to know every player, but I don't know them. It's like there's so many guys. I just don't know. For Pasternak to get his head on straight and play hockey like we know he can, start scoring goals, get that touchback or something. Like we said before, he's dropped me so much in his offensive scoring capabilities. Pasternak just needs to find that again.
Okay, Paul, the Bruins.
For Jeremy Swayman to be the guy they're paying him to be. It's very, very important that he get going. He makes a lot of money. They're committed to him long term.
Yes.
He needs to turn it around
Yeah.
fast.
Yeah.
Also, it's a real drag on the team morale to have him play poorly over an extended period of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I picked the coach, Joe Sacco.
Oh.
And my wish for him is a second line, a third line, and a fourth line. Just some.
You guys are greedy.
Is some
You must have had really long lists when you were little.
All right, I'm going to rephrase that. A second line, or a third line, or a fourth line. Okay, we're going to move on to the Boston Celtics. I had trouble, so I'm just going to throw 2 out there, picking one. For Jason Tatum, I am wishing an MVP award, either a regular season or a finals award MVP. He could have won in the finals last year. Jaylen Brown, though, was very deserving. But Tatum had a good finals, but Brown deserved it. Tatum has become a team-first player, without a doubt. He'd rather win a championship. But with the modern athlete, these awards are important. And I'd like to see him get one. My other one that I was splitting hairs on was I hope Peyton Pritchard, gets the Sixth Man of the Year award.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah, gets the Sixth Man of the Year award because he has raised his game to tremendous levels.
He's had, 13 games where he's had 5 3-pointers.
Yeah.
Oh, it's incredible. Off the bench.
Off the
It's
bench,
just, I think
yeah.
he's second in the league in made threes, and he doesn't start.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
Ken, what are you hoping for the...
it's that way.
All right.
Oh,
Paul.
does it matter?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, we've been going this way. I got it.
We have?
Yeah.
That was not by design.
Okay.
I know.
So-
All right.
I need continuity in my life, so we gotta
Okay.
keep going.
We
that
don't
way.
want to shake Ken up.
Well,
Paul.
I'm gonna zero in on one player in particular here, and I want to see Drew Holiday play better.
Yeah. He was
His
on my
numbers and
list.
percentages are down. He has looked at times to have lost a step. There have been reports that he's dealing with some kind of lower body injury. I think in the case of KP, Kristaps Porzingis, I think he'll muddle through. I just feel like between rest and relaxation and load management, he'll be around enough. I mean, he barely played in the playoffs and they won the championship.
Right.
But Holiday is a big part of their backcourt. He's a stable guy, great defender. I want to see him improve. That's what I'm asking for him.
Ken?
Well, I'm going to admit that I sort of screwed this up a little bit because I want Porzingis to be healthy. And I did that before, so I didn't put down the other one that I wanted. But Kristaps Porzingis being healthy. As Paul said, they won the championship anyway, but I don't think they can repeat that way without him. I think he needs to be healthy this year for them to win another championship. So, like I said, I just keep asking for him to be healthy and be able to play.
Yeah, I don't think they can do it without him this year either.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to move on to New England Patriots. Paul, pick someone in the organization.
Drake May, and I hope for him an offensive line. We can talk all day about the weaknesses in the other positions, wide receiving core, defensive linebacking core, the coaching staff, but without an offensive line, you have no chance. We saw it yesterday. They can't convert. They were 0 for 0 on third down. They did not convert a third down the entire game. And
did they have one? I didn't.
the Patriots?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
0 for 0. 0 for what?
Oh, 0 for 8 or 0 for
0 for
6.
8.
0 for
Okay,
7.
0 for 0
They never,
threw me.
Oh, no, they never converted a third down
Yeah,
into
okay.
a first down.
I got it.
And the one time they went for it on fourth down near the goal line, obviously they didn't convert then either.
Yeah, that was a good play.
Vidarian Lowe, a left tackle, I have no idea what he's doing. Guys are running by him. He's not even making contact with them. They're blowing by him on the short yardage situations. The center is hitting his behind on the shotgun rather than getting it to May. It's a mess, and I think it's affecting other parts of the team. The fact that there's no offensive line means they can't sustain drives, they can't score points. The defense is more pressure on them. I think it'll make the entire. If I were the Patriots, I would only draft offensive linemen. I don't care if Randy Moss Jr. is available when it's time for them to pick. They have got to shore up that offensive line, or they have no chance.
Speaking of junior, Darryl Stingley Jr. had 2 picks yesterday.
I think it was his grandson.
Grandson, yeah.
Wow. All right.
Wait a minute. My turn, right?
Yeah,
What are we doing?
I was just going to say that, Ken.
Patriots? Are
Yeah.
we doing Patriots?
Yes.
Okay, well, I say Drake May too, but I want him to have that one stud wide receiver that he becomes like attached at the hip with that that you seem to need as well. So
Yeah.
get me just a stud wide receiver.
So we have a slight disagreement on our hands.
No, but
We
they
can do that
listen.
in the current
Yeah.
next show. I picked Drake May and just put more talent around him. So I guess I'm doing what both of you guys did. But since we all picked May, I'll just add that Christian Gonzalez gets the recognition he deserves. He's playing on a terrible team, but he's playing at a super level.
Did you hear the color analyst for their game yesterday?
Yeah.
Saying this guy's all pro, everything. He's great. He's super player.
Okay, Ken.
They got one.
They got one.
In May, they got 2.
3 good players.
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Schooner.
Oh,
Henry's not bad. Hunter Henry. He's
not
pretty good.
young though.
Yeah.
All right.
Where are we now?
Ken, you're going to lead off this time because of your rotational system. So this is pick a Red Sox and give them something for holidays.
Alex Cora. Players. Okay, Alex Cora and a different third baseman, one that can actually field a ground ball.
Oh, interesting.
So
All right.
put what's his name? Devers is a DH. So let Cora make him a DH and get a third baseman.
Here we go.
Okay. I picked the owner of the Red Sox,
Who's that?
John Henry.
Still?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't seen him in like 5 years, so I didn't
Is he
know he was.
alive?
Okay. And what I wish for John Henry is that he decides to return to being the Red Sox. That they combine this effort to be Tampa Bay, develop these young players that I spoke of, with let's spend like the Red Sox. We can do both, or they can do both. So my wish is that John Henry, whatever he has to do, returns to being the Boston Red Sox. Paul?
That's a big one.
Red Sox?
That's a big one.
Oh, it
That's
is.
a big ask.
It's a big
I don't know
ask.
if Santa can do that one.
I don't know if he can.
I don't-
Okay.
I don't
Red
think
Sox.
so.
Now I'm gonna part company with my good brother from another mother here, Ken,
Oh,
because I want Rafael Devers playing third base. What I want for him is a healthy shoulder. There's 9 years left on his $300 million deal.
right.
I don't want that much money going to a DH.
Neither do I, but
well, he's been very consistent offensively. If you look at his numbers, they don't change much year to year. We're talking high 20s homers, decent on-base percentage, decent slugging percentage. He is streaky, but there are a lot of rumors of him moving to DH. I think that's not a good idea.
how about first base? Would you put him at first base?
Nope.
Nope.
I think he can get better. I think that you got it. Remember Wade Boggs. Some of us old enough to remember Wade Boggs
Sure.
improved at third, and
did.
by the end he was almost a if not a Gold Glove
I think he
third
did
baseman.
win one for the Yankees.
He was very, very good. I don't see any reason why Devers can't do that. I don't want to spend.
Except he's been there for 6 seasons already.
Yeah, I don't know, but he wasn't always. I thought a lot of it had to do with health.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
want him. He only played 130 something games. I would like to see Devers 150 plus games, completely healthy, back at third, playing better, and go find a DH. Don't make your highest paid player a DH. That's just not for me.
I don't know. I think he stinks at third base.
Oh boy.
Okay, a debate for another day between Ken and Paul. All right, we're going to move on now. Our third category. What do we wish for the holidays for the Boston media? I'm up first. Okay,
Did I do this one?
this is what I wish for the Boston media. An exit strategy from their Patriots obsession.
I was sort of on this line, but
It
not
is
quite
one
that.
thing to be obsessed about a team that has Tom Brady, Bill Belichick as its coach, Rob Gronkowski, tight end, Ty Law, Teddy Bruschi, Richard Seymour, Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola,
Adam Vinatieri.
Adam Vinatieri. The list, Willie McGinnis, the list goes on and on
Vince Wilfork.
and on. It is another thing to be obsessed with a team with, I'm not sure who, other than Drake
Drake
May and
May.
Christian Gonzalez.
That are 3 and whatever.
Yeah. This obsession is just, it's too much. We used to be different. The Red Sox used to be our prime team, and everybody filled in their spots depending on how good they were. Now we're like everybody else in the country. It doesn't matter whether our football team is good or not. They're usually number one with few exceptions. And what troubles me now about this is that they have an unbelievably interesting team on Causeway Street.
Yeah.
Not just because I'm a huge Celtics fan. They have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, Al Horford, Peyton Pritchard. And they have a coach who gives you so many stories. He's different.
He's from here.
He's from
from-
Johnston, Rhode Island. Exactly, Paul. This is a team. They got an ownership sale, which Paul mentioned in the opening segment. They have so many stories on this team. They have Brad Stevens. This is the team right now.
Well, Jim, what do you complain about? Felger and Maz do the Celtics Minute on every show.
So that's my wish for the Boston sports media. Paul?
Yeah, I think you left out of that something too, which I think
okay.
is a good point, which is they have some tough opposition.
Oh, they do.
Competition.
Yeah, they're brutal.
And that's what makes sports talk interesting. How do they match up against Cleveland? How do they match up
Oh,
in the
yeah.
finals against a healthy Denver? Can they get by the speedy OKC, which looks to be pretty tough this year?
Very good.
So I think that's a really good
Just
point.
to back that up, Paul, the Celtics are 21-5 on pace to win 66 games. They're in second place
Yeah.
in the East, to back up your point.
Yeah, it's going to be a long haul. Okay, my NBA. Oh no,
Boston media.
Boston
Media,
Media.
more fun.
Yeah, I'll
fun.
second that.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm in on that.
Look, I understand the days of Eddie Andelman are dead, and the sports huddle that's old school stuff.
Calling all
Young
sports.
people don't even know what we're talking about. But it's okay to revel in the victories. It's okay to let callers celebrate and not label them green teamers, pink hat wearers.
Right.
You don't always have to refer to the hometown teams as you derisively.
Right.
I just think that for me, listening to sports radio, it's sort of become a slog. I've increasingly gone to satellite radio. The morning show with Scal and Isola is fun.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a
very
great
It's
show.
fun.
Yeah.
The NBA show.
Yeah, they have a blast.
They joke around, and sometimes they talk about things I don't care about, but there's always a smile on their face, and
Yeah.
it's not always just insulting people.
Right.
All we get now in Boston for fun is derision. So, yes, that's what I want. More fun.
Good one. Ken?
Well, we're on the same path here, but I wrote down more coverage of the best team and less coverage of the worst team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you just mentioned the show with Scal and Isola. It's like a 3-hour show. They fill up no problem talking about the NBA. You're telling me with the team the Celtics have, you can't talk about the Celtics and the rest, like you said, how they fare against the rest of the NBA and some of the stories in the NBA. Like, they don't think people want to hear, sports fans want to hear talk about the Celtics. I don't get it. They're the only ones with stars.
I don't think it's as much a anti-Celtic bias.
No, not anti,
as it
but-
is a pro-Patriot bias. I think that the Patriots just never. There's always something to sink your teeth into with them, whether it's controversies, scandals. For many years, it was Super Bowl, and it became an addiction almost. And I think it's hard for them to pivot. I think they're struggling to
Felger
get off.
said
they're struggling.
that it's 80% of their prep. Talking to Patriots.
Yeah.
Belichick, Brady, Patriots. That's their 80%.
5 years down the road since Brady left.
Okay.
Okay, next category. We're switching to our number 4 topic, which is the leagues themselves. We're going to start with Paul and the NBA.
The NBA. I would like to have the three-point shot slightly more challenging. I miss the big man. I miss Wes Unseld versus Bob Lanier versus Kareem Jabbar versus you name the center. Every team, we've talked about this a million times, every team had a center. And that wasn't just in the 60s and 70s. In the 80s, we had
Oh, yeah,
Oh, yeah,
Robert
no, you had
Parrish,
him in
we
the
had
80s.
Patrick
Oh,
Ewing,
yeah.
we
Yeah.
had
Elijah one.
Olajuwon. It's a part of the game that I always enjoyed. I liked the matchups of the centers. I liked the low post game. I liked Kevin McHale. I liked the great players of the game, even more recent. But we don't have that now. And the problem I have with the three-point shot is if I'm watching a game that the Celtics are in, all I care about is winning, but the product as a whole can get boring at times. When both teams are taking 35 to 40 three-point shots and making 30 to 40% of them, there's a lot of missed baskets. There's a lot of rebounds that go flying off. So there's no more like battling for a rebound underneath. There's no more sky hooks, finger rolls, slam dunks.
Right, yeah.
All that part of the game that we liked is gone. And I don't know if you make the three-point line push it out a little bit, maybe at the top of the key or whatever. But I'd like to see more scoring around the basket. That's for me.
Ken, your wish
Well-
for the NBA?
Well, interesting, because for years I said I'd get rid of the three-point line altogether, but Jim and I have had that discussion.
Well, that's
so-
not happening.
Right, it's not happening. So, and we can't go into that. Okay, so if the NBA is going to stick with this in-season cup, figure out how to make it more interesting and more exciting. I just don't. I know we're going to the semifinal or final.
Finals on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I don't care. I didn't watch the semifinals. I didn't say to myself, "Oh, gotta watch the semifinals of the inter-season cup game." It just doesn't. I mean, I guess if the Celtics were in it, obviously I'd be much more interested. But I don't find it to be a good setup. I don't find it to be all that exciting. The format is bad. And the other thing I wish for in the NBA is call something on Giannis Antetokounmpo, please. I mean, please call something on. He cannot run people over when they're just standing there trying to play defense. He played the last time they played the Celtics, he played like 40 minutes. He didn't have one foul. They didn't call a foul on the guy. Anyway, go ahead, Jim.
Okay. My wish for the NBA, and I say this before it's too late. Before it's too late is to cut down on allowing the physical play, the level of physical play, I should say, that started in last year's playoffs and has continued in this year's regular season. I did watch Oklahoma City, Houston.
That's who played.
And you even texted me during
I
that
saw
game.
it for a little bit. I
Okay.
didn't stick.
And you were correct. That was like watching 90s
Yeah.
basketball.
I turned it off probably because of that.
Look, Michael Jordan played in the 90s, but 90s basketball was horrible. There were games in the
80s.
low 90s, high 80s. It was terrible because there was the three-pointer hadn't taken effect yet to this degree, so they were all crunching the court, and these athletes are too good. There was no spacing, which I am kind of for what Paul said about the three, but I'm not for eliminating it.
Right, yeah, no.
Because if you eliminate it, you will go back, and teams will be in the 80s again.
Yeah.
Maybe some adjustment needs to be made because players are too good right now. But my big point is, if you're going to allow this, we're going to go back to that. Sure enough, because every game now, Scal says, this team's physical. They're all trying to do it to the Celtics.
Yeah.
And it's only because the Celtics have so many shooters that they can
Well,
still
what's your
play.
objection? I mean, you said you object to it, but what's your objection?
My objection is it will become a trend, as so many things do in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Ime Udoka now has a just brutally physical defensive team that could easily slot in with the Knicks or the Pistons of that era. It will be copied
playing that
and
kind of
copied
basketball.
and copied. And the NBA, because people like a little more physical play, better watch out because that league's not going to go with those games in the 80s.
Well,
in
one
this
thing
era.
we've all talked about on the physical play that Jim always says began with Shaq.
Yeah.
Is the okay to now just bang the defensive guy down low when you're backing him in.
Right.
Turn your shoulder, bang into him a few times, and then eventually call the foul on the defensive player. That's where we've become.
And I like physical play. I just noticed it in the playoffs last year, and it's continued. This is a level that I think is too far, but we'll see. All right, Ken, you're up. The National Hockey League. What do you wish for the National Hockey League for the holidays?
Oh, you know what I want? I want to bring back the big curved stick.
Bobby Hull.
Scoring. Get me more goals.
Okay.
All right.
But that's all kidding aside. What did I want? Oh, one rule I've always wanted changed in hockey. So my Christmas gift to hockey would be you're not allowed to ice the puck when you're shorthanded.
I've wondered that myself, why that was permitted. That's
I
a
think
good
it's
one.
stupid. It's crazy.
Wow. That would be a radical change.
You're being penalized. Then you're allowed to just dump the puck down the other end.
Yeah, it should not be permitted.
It equals out because there's a very low percentage of goals scored on power plays.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Paul, the NHL.
I think they need to figure out a way to make the regular season more predictive of the playoff outcome.
Yeah.
Now, some of this comes from my experience in management. Jim and I are in management of the Cape Cod Baseball League, where in recent years, what you do in the regular season seems to bear little relation to what you do in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And people say that's what's good about the NHL. I disagree. I think that's what's bad about the NHL.
Mm-hmm.
I think it devalues the regular season.
Yeah.
I think it de-incentivizes teams in the regular season to show their best stuff. I don't know if there's some way to make it more representative of the outcome of the season. Maybe you get 5 home games in a 7-game series or something.
5 road games.
5 road games. Sorry,
right.
the road ice
teams
advantage.
Road ice advantage.
Road ice advantage. Maybe you
But
get to pick.
Yeah. Pick.
Right. You
That's
get the
what I
pick.
like.
Okay, maybe you play the first 5 minutes of every game with a man advantage. I don't know what it is.
There you go.
But I would like to see the regular season slightly more predictive of the outcome of the playoffs. I think it's gotten way out of control.
Oh, 8 beats 1 all the time.
Yeah, that is tough. My wish for the NHL is simple: to find the next Doc Emmerich. Kenny Albert is a very good hockey announcer. Sean McDonough is a good hockey announcer. Those are the number ones on both networks that cover hockey, TNT and ESPN respectively. But tuning in a hockey game, especially in the playoffs, and finding out that Doc Emmerich was the announcer.
Yeah.
It was the Vin Scully of hockey. It was a level that, was just way up there and totally enjoyable. And I hope they find another guy like that, because when you get a great announcer on a hockey game, it's hard to do. It's fast, a lot of players. It's a pleasure to listen to.
Can I raise a
guy
question
like
on
that.
Paul's point?
When I'm done.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
So I hope that Doc was a legend, and I hope that they
He was
find
great.
his. Yeah. Now you may go.
Oh.
I'm just teasing, by the way. Go ahead.
My question would be, is it the sport itself? Because basketball the better teams tend to
they do
win.
Yeah.
Baseball, to me, is almost a crapshoot most of the time.
Yeah, it's
too.
a little more random than the NBA.
I'm just wondering, is it the sport itself? I don't know. That's my question. Is
I
it
don't
that
know.
type of sport?
Remember, you don't ask questions on this show if the other guy doesn't know the answer. That's one
No,
of
that's
our
right.
rules.
No, I'm in my mind, I think it's something about that sport because what do we always say? Puck luck.
Puck luck.
Yeah. All right. On to the National Football League. I'll lead off. My wish for the National Football League: stop playing on Christmas. I've had it. You've got Thanksgiving. You've got every other day of the calendar year. Christmas Day used to be the day for us hoop junkies.
Yep.
You sit down. If you celebrate Christmas, you have a meal. The Celtics play. You time the meal around the Celtics game. One year when my mom and dad were alive, God bless their soul, we even watched the Celtics while we ate. It's the hoop day. And I have no doubt that no matter what network the NFL plays on, if they go on cable access, they will outdraw the NBA. I know that.
Yeah.
Please give the hoopsters one day. You've got every other day.
There's like 5 NBA games that day.
Yeah,
too.
but now they did. Christmas is a Wednesday. The NFL is playing.
Right.
Of course
I
they're
know.
playing.
And I think one of them might be on Amazon. It's going to outdraw the ABC basketball game.
Of course it will.
I'm not watching it.
No, I know. Okay, Paul, the National Football
On record.
League.
They have got to do something. The National Football League has got to do something about inconsistent penalties, especially pass interference.
Yeah.
It is just out of control. On the subject of inconsistent penalties, generally, we had that play yesterday where Kyler Murray is running all over the field. He's about to cross the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
He throws an errant pass. 2 Patriot players are trying to prevent a first down on a scramble, tackle him, seemingly not that hard.
Yeah.
And the Patriots intercept the pass, but it's called back because it's roughing the passer. A horrific call that even the NFL officiating expert that they had on the network, Gene Steratore, said was a bad call.
Yeah,
but we see it week after week after week. Ticky-tack calls, bad calls missed. I'm not saying I have a solution, but this is pie in the sky Santa Claus stuff.
Yeah.
I wish for something to be done about inconsistent penalties. We jokingly call it in our text string the National Flag League.
Right.
You can't enjoy a good play. I go to Patriots games.
Yeah.
Guy runs for a touchdown. Hold on, before I get excited, where's the flag?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, there's no flag. Yay.
Yay.
It's literally like that.
It is like that.
Especially on special teams plays. So they got to do something about flags.
Ken, the National Football League.
Yeah, I said sort of the same thing. I said less penalties, please, especially the holding ones. Like, I just sometimes holding, bring that touchdown back, please. I mean, the holding, I don't. But the other thing I had about the NFL that drives me absolutely nuts, second only to the DH, non-DH thing I did for 25 years on the show that I thought was the stupidest thing ever. Odd number of games? Are you out of your mind? You have to have an even number of games. Some teams do not get to play an extra home game compared to another. 17, this is the stupidest thing. You have 8 on the road and 8 at home. I don't want 18 games, but if they do, at least it'll be even again. I think odd number, 17 games, so that one year you get more home games than another team, and the next year you don't. I can't handle that. I cannot. I never know any other sport that's had an odd number of games.
That's a good one.
Yep. Okay. Major League Baseball, Paul?
Major League Baseball needs a new economic model that rewards performance and reduces dead money. There's way too much money being spent on guys that are either hurt, past their prime, not doing what they were supposed to do. It's rampant in that sport.
Yeah.
And it has a couple of effects. Number one is it hurts the quality of play. If you know that you're going to make $50 million a year for 15 years or $10 million a year for 5 years, we know from analysis, and analysts have looked at it, that your production is going to go down slightly on average. Not every guy. David Ortiz seemed to maintain his, but he was on short-term deals most of his career. The other problem dead money has is it scares away small markets from investing in players. So I have to go, Kansas City can't bid on a Juan Soto because it really would hurt them in years 8 through 15 to have that much dead money on their contract. So I don't know how you do it, but Major League Baseball needs to insist or make it happen, get Santa Claus involved, Hanukkah Harry, to change their economic model so there's not so much dead money. I mean, look at the Red Sox paid Chris Sale all that money for all those years, and he didn't do anything.
Right.
There's no other profession like that.
Right.
Hollywood doesn't pay people when they don't make movies. TV production companies don't pay people when they don't make TV shows.
Right.
Rock stars and pop musicians have to tour and actually do the concert. If they don't show up for the concert, they don't get paid. Pro sports is the only entertainment vehicle that I know of where you can make $25 or more million a year for not playing. I don't get that.
Yeah.
I find that very strange.
They need to go to the golf model where if you play good, you win money. You don't play good, you don't win money.
All right, Ken. Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball. Okay, we've talked about this a lot. I want back for Major League Baseball the great starting pitchers. I want to get excited when the Red Sox are going to play so-and-so, and it's Clemens versus Guidry, like we once said, or Pedro versus whoever, or even way back, Lomborg versus, I can't remember who it was, right? But there seem to be great pitchers.
I long for the days when I can't remember.
Yeah, right. But I literally watch, if I watch a weekend baseball game or a night baseball game that isn't the Red Sox, well, even when it is the Red Sox, I don't know the starting pitcher. I want great starting pitchers back again.
Yeah, I said the same thing, which we talked about on another show. More starting pitching for reasons Ken said. It's really,
It's
Paul
exciting.
asked on another show if it's taken away from the game, and I think we all agreed it has. So I think more starting pitching. And I'd add to that, it's pretty clear that the reason we're not getting it, well, I don't know, pretty clear, but guys are throwing so hard so early. Something's got to be done with that if we're really going to get it back. Yeah. So, again, just a Christmas holiday, Hanukkah, all the other holidays wish. Okay, Ken, this is the last category. It is an absolute wild card category. Anything you want about local sports, national sports that you wish for all of the holidays.
Okay, so this one, I guess, was on the list to write about, but I guess I missed it somehow. So I don't know why.
Gotta love the way he preps for these shows.
No, I did.
I mean,
read.
it's impressive.
I was reading.
And you've only had 45 minutes to think of one.
Right. No, I mean, I was reading. How did I miss that? I don't know. Like, I was sitting at my desk reading everything we were going to do and do this. Okay, I'll go to my big one. I hate an odd number of football games. I just hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it. Change it back to an even number of games. That's my sports wish.
Okay. My wish is that the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox, of which Paul and I, as he said earlier, are involved, win the Cape Cod League Baseball Championship in 2025.
Wow. That's hard to top.
Paul?
But I am going to veer away from my own self-interest for a minute.
Yeah,
Although
I didn't do that.
It is true to some extent that this is self-interested. And this is a big one for me. I thought I have very strong opinion on this wild card one. Okay? Cheaper food, concessions, and merchandise at professional sporting events. I go to Celtics games from time to time. I occasionally go to a Red Sox game. I go to every Patriots game. What these billionaire owners charge the average guy and gal and kid for a drink, slice of pizza, water, shirt, hat. Jim and I, being involved in the Cape League, we know what hats cost to make. It's unbelievable what they charge for hats, shirts, all this stuff. Come on. You are making so much money from TV revenue and gate revenue. Go easy on the fans. Or at least have some items that are affordable. $9 hot dogs, $13 hot dogs, $8 for a bottle of water, $12 for a beer. Like these prices are out of control at these games. And people say, well, it's always been that way. No, it
was not.
I have Red Sox programs going back to the 60s. The price list is in there. You compare it to the minimum wage. For $2, you could get you could get 2 hot dogs, 2 drinks, a pencil, a commemorative bat, and a program. You can't get that for minimum wage now. So I just think these owners have enough money. If the person has gone all the way to the stadium and paid for the parking and paid for the ticket and is no doubt going to spend money, go easy on them. Is that so hard?
No, that would be great. I hawked at Patriots game when they built the original, what they call it, Schaefer Stadium? What was the original? Schaefer Stadium. I hawked for 3 years there. I sold hot dogs 45 cents. 1971, 45 cents.
Wow.
That was not a hardship for someone to buy a hot dog.
No.
Yeah.
I had to give them nickel change.
Sometimes they let you keep it, but not always.
Not always.
No.
All right, that's going to wrap up our holiday show.
Ho, ho, ho.
We want to wish everyone a happy and healthy holiday season. Also, we will be doing another sort of holiday show. It will be our year-end award show coming up soon. So we used to have a saying, shameless self-promotion, which, to give credit, I think Paul created that.
Yes, very shameless.
So let me give credit to Paul for that saying. But in a bit of shameless self-promotion, I hope you tune in for that and all our shows. But again, a happy and healthy holiday season from everyone here at Boston Sports Nuts. Thanks for viewing, listening, podcasting, etc.
All right, happy everything.
Bye.
Thank you for watching Boston Sports Nuts. You can find all of our episodes available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. For more information, go to westwoodmediacenter.tv or follow Boston Sports Nuts on Facebook, Instagram, and X.